Hello and welcome. This is your host, Jacqueline Tabrizi. Our guest is a licensed psychotherapist with 25 years of experience and an entrepreneur. She is an adjunct professor at Northwestern University, an international speaker, blogger for Psychology Today, and a mental health thought leader specializing in the psychology of money. She is routinely consulted as a mental health expert in the media, featured in such outlets as US News and World Report, The Wall Street Journal, CNN, and MTV. Her book, The Financial Mindset Fix, a mental fitness program for an abundant life, was published by Sounds True in July of 2021 and has been featured in Business Insider, Money Geek, US Weekly, Thrive Global, Forbes, and more. Please welcome Joyce Marter.
Thank you so much for having me, Jacqueline. I'm excited to be here.
Actually, we are so excited having you here, sharing your gift with everyone. Would you share with our audience, when did you realize your true calling?
Oh my goodness. Well, I knew as an undergraduate in college that I wanted to be of service to people and that I care about our deeper connection to one another, our emotions, our spirituality, our relationships, and connection to the world around us. And so I chose to become a psychotherapist. I found my work to be emotionally, intellectually, and spiritually rewarding. And I've learned so much from the wisdom of my clients over the past 25 years that I wanted to share what I learned from them and through my own entrepreneurial journey in my new book.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. As known and as part of success is becoming conscious and self-aware. So what does that mean? And how self-awareness can impact our prosperity and financial wellness?
That's a great question. And I remember when I started graduate school at Northwestern University, I was really afraid that my professors were going to see that I deal with anxiety. And as I read the books and listened to lectures, I was like, oh my goodness, this is me, this is my family, this is my mother. And I realized, this is part of the human condition. We all have struggles, family issues, maybe deal with depression, anxiety, relationship issues. And we all have defense mechanisms like denial and rationalization. And so I loved that the program encouraged us all to seek our own counseling and therapy. And I found that it opened my eyes. It gave me a lens through which to understand myself and the world around me. And to increase my consciousness, we all have blinders. And so to have others sort of see parts of us and mirror and reflect that back to us can help us have more self-awareness, which is so important in business and in life to succeed in relationships.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. So if you want to share at least one way or one tool with our audience, how to become aware, because sometimes we live life on a reactive mode and we go with the flow, so we are not having enough time to sit with ourselves and get aware of what's happening in our life. Can you share with us, please?
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head, Jackie, that many of us suffer from the disease of being busy, and we're reactive rather than responsive, and we're not operating consciously. So my one tip or suggestion would be to practice mindfulness practices like meditation, deep breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, and yoga. Even connecting with nature is a mindfulness practice because it helps us root ourselves in the here and now. Instead of ruminating about the past or worrying about the future, we connect with our senses and we connect with our deeper, higher self. We're able to observe our thoughts or our egos instead of being operated by them. And then we're able to connect with our light, our authentic self or our soul within. And that makes us shine our light more brightly in a more conscious and compassionate way.
I love it. I love it. So what I heard you saying, as if we get to be present to the moment. And I know in your book, you talk a lot about the presence and how to become present and the importance of it. Can we share a little bit about that, please?
Absolutely. So many of us spend a lot of time ruminating about the past or worrying about the future when peace can be found in the present moment. And when we're connected with our breath and the here and now, we are more conscious and aware. And I believe that when we're connected with our bodies, we can tap into the intuition and wisdom of our bodies, our gut instincts, what we feel in our heart center. And that leads to increased emotional intelligence. So being more able to read other people's energy, their facial expressions, their tone of voice, to have more empathy and compassion in relationships so that we can collaborate and succeed together.
Actually, fantastic. But how does that serve us in creating money, in creating financial wellness? How does that work with it hand by hand?
Well, I share in my book that I think we all as therapists specialize in our own issues. And I've dealt with tremendous financial anxiety as an entrepreneur. I made 1,000 mistakes in my business, and it was my tools from my clinical training that saved me, including mindfulness practices and cognitive behavioral therapy techniques and others that I share in the book. But by being mindful, you are conscious of your spending instead of going into denial. And you can pay attention to how you feel in your gut when you're making major financial decisions. I talked about selecting a buyer for my business, which grew tremendously. It was a multi-million-dollar business. And I used presence to help me check in with my gut and choose a buyer that I trusted, that I felt was aligned with my mission. And so when we connect with our deeper, higher selves, we can align our unique gifts with a need in the world to the greatest extent possible and welcome greater financial prosperity and abundance.
I love, thank you. Is that something about intention? You said you get present and connected. So what is the role of intention here?
Well, after practicing for 25 years as a therapist, I have deep respect for self-fulfilling prophecy. According to cognitive behavioral therapy, our thoughts precede our emotions and behaviors. So if we have negative or catastrophic or fear-based thinking, that's going to impair outcome. And so when we set an intention, it is a way of living, a way of being that is stated in the here and now, in the present moment. So it might be, I welcome abundance. I welcome new income streams. I am open to new relationships that will lift me up and cause me to grow. Those are intentions. And when we live by intentions, that shapes our reality, including financial.
Yes, yes, amen to that. Yes. Wonderful. So this will go to another in your speeches, because I watched you in your TED Talk. So, and in it, you were talking about responsibility. So what do we need to take responsibility for to create a new money reality?
Thank you for mentioning that, because it is such an important aspect that we have to take responsibility for our financial lives. So unfortunately, I think sometimes each of us gets stuck in blame. We might blame our parents, our past relationships, our employers for our financial situation, but we need to take the reins. We need to accept the past and empower ourselves to make good decisions going forward. And through taking responsibility, we need to become financially literate. So, whether that's reviewing the basics of money management and budgeting, or it's more sophisticated investing or business planning, we all need to continue to learn and cultivate that skill set of financial literacy. And so being responsible for our financial life and having accountability for our spending, for our saving, and making sure that we're taking good care of ourselves financially as we would someone who we love very, very much.
How we can love ourselves through all this?
You know what, Jackie? That is the magic key. That is the secret ingredient to success and prosperity. It is about loving and accepting yourself. None of us is perfect. We all have, to some degree or other, traumas that we've been through, and hurts and pain and suffering as part of the human condition. And we need to move towards self-compassion, self-forgiveness, self-affirmation. And when we really tap into our innate worth, we are all innately deserving of all that is good. And when we believe that, that's not being selfish or narcissistic. It's about valuing and respecting ourselves. We welcome a greater life for ourselves. We set the tone for how other people are going to treat us. And we advocate for ourselves with healthy assertiveness and confidence. We expand our comfort zones and we negotiate. And that has a financial return. And when we have more, we can help more. So this isn't about materialism or greed or excess. It's about being our best selves for the next generation, to lift others up and maybe be philanthropists or provide other services, jobs or internships for others.
So when we are loving ourselves and supporting ourselves, not like a diva, neither like a doormat, just in the middle. So this way we are not narcissistic, and we are not people who are selfish. So we love ourselves so we can be able to love others. This is what you meant, right?
Yeah.
So, and by the way, diva and doormat, it's an analogy. You said it in your interviews before. So I allowed myself to copy that.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I always say that healthy self-esteem is midway between diva and doormat. The diva is entitled and grandiose and not respectful of other people's boundaries. And financially, they may be an overspender. And the doormat allows his or her own boundaries to become compromised. And they don't advocate for themselves, and they can be under earners. And that healthy self-worth is where we respect ourselves and others, and we communicate in a way that's assertive. We have healthy boundaries, including financially.
Wow, thank you. So beautiful. Okay, so now we're gonna go a little bit into action. And you were talking about vision and action plan. How can we become clear about our financial vision? And how can we create an action plan to reach that goal and that vision?
Yes. Well, I noticed early on in my career that I was setting my own limits financially through self-limiting beliefs. So I was setting goals to earn enough money to cover my bills and not thinking with an abundance mindset. And I always made what I set out to make, but not anymore. And it wasn't until I expanded my thinking that I started to welcome greater prosperity and wealth. And so it's important for us to develop a vision. I'm very big in work-life balance because so many of us deal with overwork and burnout. So creating a personal and professional vision where your career supports your personal life and you have time for health and wellness. And blowing the lid off of that, imagining if you had a magic wand, what do you want your greatest life to look like? It's usually ourselves, our self-limiting beliefs and self-sabotage that prevent that from happening. But if we work on that and we establish 5-year goals, 3-year goals, 1-year goals, systems of accountability, we set SMART goals that are realistic and timely and measurable and specific, then we're going to move toward achieving our dreams.
Do we need support in any of this to put us on, all the time in the right track?
Ding, 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 ding. You hit the nail on the head. Support is the key to everything. And our support network is like a spiritual web. People come into our lives who help us grow and learn, and we're interdependent as human beings. And so support is mutual. It's like two sides of the same coin, giving and receiving support. So we need to nurture our support network, both personally and professionally. We need to move past barriers that keep us from accessing support, such as pride or ego or fear of rejection or lack of trust. And we need to specifically ask for the support that we need. I share in my book that one of my biggest mistakes financially was not seeking business or financial consultation sooner. And I did that out of shame and fear. And, we need support. All of us is smarter than any one of us. And so having support and consultation can help us to see our blind spots, come up with better problem solving, and collaborate together.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So now I know you have a gift. You shared with us a gift for our audience. Would you please just speak a little bit about that gift? Of course, we're gonna send it with the email and the link and everything. And can you please just speak about it?
Absolutely. So on that link, I have a bunch of resources for you. And these are some free exercises from my book. So they're downloadable PDFs that you can either print out or complete digitally or email to friends and family. I have a self-love wheel, so you can measure how well you're doing with your self-care and identify areas of needed improvement. There's a support wheel where you can assess and nurture your support network. There's a work satisfaction wheel where you can identify areas of needed negotiation. And I have some fun bonus PDFs on negotiation, work-life balance, and others, as well as a link to my book and some other fun merchandise and ways that you can connect with me so that I can be a support and resource to you.
I love it. I love this generous gift. It is really generous. I sneak peek on it and I saw how much great gems in it. Thank you so much. Thank you. And this has really been fun and so amazing having you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for stepping up into your power and share your wisdom with everyone here. Thank you so much for what you do for this world.
Likewise, Jackie, and my pleasure and honor. And you've built a wonderful community, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
I'm so excited too. Thank you so much. Thank you, audience, I wish and I am truly, I trust that you're gonna enjoy this session, this series, because most of our expert speakers are really, really the good, the right people, the ideal people for this summit. Thank you so much, and especially Joyce Marter. Lots of love for you. Thank you.
Thank you.